Thank you very much for your accepting our invitation. Let me offer you some points as a preference. Since the Islamic Revolution in 1979, women in Iran have made huge progress in higher education. Before the revolution, many women, especially in villages and small cities, could not go even to a school. After 1979, the government worked to help everyone, including women, learn to read and write. This led to more girls attending school and university. Of course, we shouldn't ignore the gradual change in lifestyle in Iran. Today, women make up more than half of university students in Iran. The number of women who can read and write has grown from about 35% in the 1970s to over 85% now. Women in Iran can now study any subject they want. They are almost free to choose fields like science, technology, engineering, medicine, and social sciences. This freedom has helped them achieve great things. For example, in life sciences and chemistry, over 60% of graduate students are women. In engineering, which used to be mostly for men, women not make up 30 to 40% of PhD students in areas like biomedical and environmental engineering. Environmental engineering. In medicine, more than 70% of students are women, and many go on to become experts in fields like economy, uh, uh, neurology, and surgery. Beyond studying, women in Iran are doing important work in research and innovation. They lead projects in areas like artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and public health, helping to solve real problems. In social sciences and humanities, women study topics like economics, political science, and psychology at the PhD level. They research big issues like gender equality and economic growth. However, they are still challenges. While women can study anything, finding jobs in some fields is not always easy. Also, traditions in Iran expect women to focus on family life. Meanwhile, there are also people who want to create restrictions on women's education in some fields by dividing university majors into ones for women and ones for men, though they haven't succeeded in this yet. It is important that today lots of Iranian women manage to do both. They succeed in education and work while also talking taking care of their families. This blames is a big achievement. It inspires younger generations and shows that society's expectations are changing. In short, Iranian women have come a long way in higher education since 1979. They are a major part of universities, study important subjects, and contribute to research and new ideas. At the same time, they combine these successes with family life, reshaping their roles in society. This progress points to a brighter future for women and for Iran. Thank you very much for your participating in our meeting. Thank you for both professors, Dr. Leila Falahati and Dr. Somayeh Fereidouni, for accepting our invitation for lecturing in this meeting. Thank you very much and welcome everyone to this meeting. Uh, for a start, I ask Dr. Leila Falahati to start its a speech for 20 minutes, please. Thank you, Mrs. Leila Falahati, Dr. Leila Falahati. Please start your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gholami. It's a great pleasure to connect with you today. I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to speak with you. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you for giving me this platform to share my thoughts. I would like to congratulate you in advance on International Women's Day, March 8th, and remind you that this year also marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, which highlights 12 critical areas of gender inequality, which education is one of the areas. The topic I'm sharing with you is focused on the presence of women in higher education in Iran, and I hope to provide you useful information. If you let me, I will share my PowerPoint, and I will start with okay. First of all, I would like to touch some of the progress in women's situation in higher education. As you see in the chart, over the past few decades, women participation in higher education in Iran has transformed significantly. In the late 80s, Iran expanded its university system by establishing institutions like virtual universities, Payam-e-Noor, and Islamic Azad University. This expansion increased university capacity, and women were the biggest beneficiaries. By the 90s, the gender gap in higher education began to close, as you see in the chart, and in the 2000, for the first time, the number of female graduates surpassed male. Despite various challenges, private university including Azad, Islamic Azad University provided opportunities for women to pursue studies in a wide range of disciplines. In the 2010s, these trends contributed to stabilizing the gender balance in higher education. However, as you see, since 2021, female graduation rates have been rising again, indicating new social and policy shifts that continue to shape the future of higher education in Iran. In this chart, I try to show the shifting trends in the academic qualification of women over time, highlighting the distribution of associate's degree, bachelor's, and postgraduate, including master's and PhD. As you see in the earlier decades, such as 1974 and 1986, a significant proportion of women earned associate degree with relatively lower representation in higher academic levels. The share of women earning bachelor's degree gradually increased, peaking in 2016 at 65%. During this period, postgraduate education remained minimal, though it has shown growth in recent years. By 2022, a notable shift occurred. The proportion of women pursuing postgraduate education, including master's and PhD, increased significantly to 23.5%, while associate degree declined to 15.5%. This trend suggests a growing preferences for higher education beyond the undergraduate level, reflecting the increasing role of women in advanced academic and professional fields. Women in academic fields is the other area I want to touch and highlight here. As you see, the distribution of women across different academic fields over several decades, revealing significant shift in their educational preferences and opportunities. In the early years, particularly in 1974 and 19s, women were predominantly enrolled in humanities and medicine, with limited participation in engineering and science. The presence of women in arts and agriculture was relatively low. By 2000, there was a noticeable increase in women's enrollment in medicine, which became one of the dominant fields. At the same time, their presence in engineering began to rise, reflecting greater access to technical disciplines. Science fields also saw moderate growth. In 2010 and 2020, the most striking trend was the continued dominance of humanities, but with an increasing share of women entering engineering and science compared to previous decades, the participation of women in medicine remained strong, though slightly balanced with growth in other fields. These trends totally highlights the evolving role of women in higher education, with increasing access to traditionally male-dominated disciplines like engineering and science, while maintaining strong representation in fields like humanities and medicine. The next slide I want to touch and highlight is how more women have been earning PhD degree over time. It was very important for me to highlight this proportion, since it's a window to enter to higher education as a faculty member. As you see, in the late 80s, men made up the majority of doctoral graduates, while the number of women was much lower. However, as access to higher education expanded, especially with the growth of private university and more opportunities for women, the number of female PhD graduates began to rise. During the 19th, women enrollment in PhD programs increased significantly, reaching a peak in the mid-19 before experiencing some ups and downs. Despite this fluctuation, the overall trend remained positive. In the 20,000, women steadily continued to pursue PhD degree, gradually closing the gender gap in doctoral education. From 2010 onward, the number of female PhD graduates kept growing, while the percentage of female graduates slowly declined. This shift reflects broader social changes, including greater support for women in academia and a strong presence for female researchers. As you see in the chart, the proportion of female graduates in PhD level is around 45%. It's significant. Now I will share with you the changes in female situation in academia as faculty member. The chart shows the progress of women in securing faculty positions over time. For many years, men held the vast majority of these positions, with women making up only a small percentage. From 1989 to the early 2000s, women's share remained relatively low, hovering around 10%, and the gap was so wide as you saw. However, from the 2010s onward, a gradual increase in female faculty representation became noticeable. By 2021, there was a sharp rise, indicating a significant shift in academic hiring and career advancement for women. Despite this progress, men still dominate faculty positions. However, the recent upward trend suggests that more women are entering academic careers and maybe male are leaving this area. This slide highlights the women faculty members in academic ranks. As you see, the increasing presence of women in assistant professor positions over time, in the late 80s and early 90s, female representation was very low, with men holding the vast majority of these positions. However, as more women earned PhD degree and higher education policies evolved, their number gradually increased. From the early 2000s onward, the trend became more noticeable, with steady growth in the number of female assistant professors. This shift reflects the broader inclusion of women in academia and their increasing role in teaching and research. Despite this progress, male assistant professors still significantly outnumber females, although the gap has been slowly narrowing. The sharp rise in female assistant professors after 2010 suggests stronger academic career opportunities for women. The trend indicates that as more women complete doctoral studies and earn PhD degree, their chances of securing faculty position have improved. However, as you see in this slide, the situation of women in associate professor rank in the late 80s and 90s, female representation was minimal, with little change in their numbers. Meanwhile, the number of male associate professors steadily increased. In early 2000, the trend began to shift, with more women advancing to associate professor roles. This growth remained slow but steady until the 2010, when female representation saw a noticeable increase. The sharp rise after 2015 suggests that more women have been able to progress in their academic careers, likely due to higher PhD graduation rates and evolving institutional policies supporting female faculty members. Despite this improvement, the gap between male and female associate professors remains significant. But the most important academic rank is the professorship. As you see, the chart highlights the slow but steady growth of women reaching the highest academic rank. In the late 80s and 90s, female representation in this position was extremely low, with men overwhelmingly holding the majority of professor roles. Throughout the 2000s, while the number of male professors increased significantly, the number of female professors showed only slight growth. However, from the 2010 onward, a more noticeable rise in female professors can be seen. This increase suggests that as more women advance through academia, moving from assistant to associate professor roles, they eventually attained full professorship. Despite this progress, the gap between male and female professors remains substantial. However, I may indicate, despite significant progress in women's participation in higher education and academia, three major challenges remain. Many women still face barriers in reaching leadership positions, struggle with advancing to higher academic ranks like professorship and associate professor, and experience higher unemployment rates despite their qualification. I will briefly expand on each dimension of the challenge. The first and most important is the situation and share of women in leadership. As you see, the chart highlights the significant gender disparity in leadership roles, particularly in positions such as university president and deputy minister. As seen, only 3% of university presidents are women, while 97% are men, clearly demonstrating the underrepresentation of women in top academic leadership. Similarly, when it comes to deputy minister positions, women make up just 8%, while men hold 92% of these roles. This stark contrast highlights the persistent barriers women face in reaching leadership positions, despite their increasing presence in academia. The next issue is about the reaching to the highest level of academic rank, which is professorship, if you put the statistics on the diagram, we will find an illustration of the academic leaky pipeline, particularly within faculty ranks, where significant losses occur as women progress through their academic careers. At the assistant professor level, women make up 67% of the faculty pipeline. However, as they move up to the ranks, many leave academia or face barriers to promotion. By the time we reach the associate professor level, the percentage drops to 20%, showing a major decline. Finally, at the highest academic rank, full professor, only 30% of women remain. This stark drop highlights the challenges women face in advancing through academia. Systematic barriers, lack of mentorship, work-life balance struggles, and institutional biases all contribute to this leaky pipeline, where fewer women make it to top academic positions. And the other barrier is share of graduates in overall unemployment. This chart highlights the unequal unemployment rates among female graduates compared to their male counterparts. As shown, women make up 71% of overall unemployment among graduates, while men account for only 29%. Despite this increasing number of women pursuing higher education, a significant gap remains in terms of employability, indicating challenges in the integrating women into the workforce, even with academic qualification. To address these barriers, several measures have been put into place. First, in 2017, The cabinet minister passed a resolution mandating that 30% of managerial positions in all government agencies should be allocated to women. This policy aims to ensure that women have more representation in leadership roles and decision-making positions across various sectors, which is crucial for advancing gender equality. And the second measure was the efforts have been made to increase the economic participation of female graduates. One key initiative has been to facilitate women's involvement in establishing knowledge-based companies by creating a more supportive environment for women to participate in the entrepreneurial sector, particularly in fields related to science and technology. The government has made it easier for women to turn their academic achievements into successful business and contribute to the innovation economy. These efforts are part of a broader strategy to empower women that because the time is so packed, I cannot touch all of them, but all of them are trying to enhance the women's role in leadership and economic development and break down the barriers that limit their full participation in both the academic and professional sector. I truly appreciate your attention and engagement. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leila Falahati. I took advantage from your speech, and your speech is very useful. And thank you from your kindness and from your uh, accepting our invitation again. Dr. Leila Falahati, member of faculty in Institute for Cultural and Social Studies in Tehran. And Dr. Falahati, I received some question. Let me offer your question and we received your answer, please. The first question, how much of the problems or barriers Iranian women face in higher education come from global issues and how much from local issues? Includes traditions, laws, policies, and so on.
I can answer now.
Yes, yes, please. And after that, say second question.
It was a very important question that you raised. I can divide the problems in two or three categories. The first is some of the problems, such as the low share of women in engineering and science and mathematics is related to an issue that whole the globe are suffering from that. For example, the means of women, average of women in engineering whole the globe is lower than 30%. And it's rooted in the traditional gender socialization, mostly at the school, because in the schools, the teachers are encourage daughters to read the humanities and the disciplines such as psychology and so on. As you saw, even in our charts, the proportion of women in humanities is so high. But it's not only for Iran. In the whole, all the globe is the same route. And even if I want to compare, I should say that in some countries, the proportion of women in engineering is around 16%, while in Iran now is 30%. And it means that we even pass some of the issues, but some of them like that is the same. The leadership issue is the same. The share of women in leadership position in higher education is 22%. And the number of women as the presidents in whole the globe is around 90%. And it means that the higher education has some organizational dilemmas and challenges that some of them we can understand. For example, if one person wants to be the president of the university, should have the academic rank as a professor or at least associate professor. It's like the military system is so strict about it. Therefore, as you saw, the lower level of women in professorship level, it means that the lower opportunity to be in the leadership position. And about the unemployment, we cannot compare with the world because we're suffering from the issues that we are unique in the world. That one is the brutal sanctions that they aimed to decrease the unemployment mostly for the youth in our country. And we know they are so purposeful and brutal, and unfortunately, we couldn't expand our economy infrastructures, and even by the new generation of economy, which is a kind of innovation economy. When they made some sanctions against Iran, the connections and the network is closed for our graduates. This is one of the issues that it's not from the internal. But if I want to touch some of the issue from the inside of our culture, I don't want to make everything like the other countries, but I did a lot of studies in Asian context. In our context, the laws and even the social culture norms, they are a kind of preferring the traditional roles for women. Or if women are in the academia, the culture push them in the side, but not in the center. Every day they remind your family roles. You don't need to be a professor even. You have to raise your children's. If you be a better mother, better than a good professors. And some of the organizational factors, such as sometimes a kind of masculinity culture, or even sometimes the women don't intended to got a leadership position. They prefer in the lack of family-friendly policies in the university, which my sister, Dr. Fereidouni, did a lot of research about it, how we can have family-friendly universities. When we are in the lack of this, the women thinking to make a decision, should I go to the academic ranks, or I have to take care of my family and my children, since they cannot balance both of them. I hope if you let me, I can tell until the tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And the second question is, we would like to know your opinion about the perspective of women and higher education in Iran, for example, for next 10 years.
As you see in the charts, and I showed you that the number of women in PhD level is increased significantly, and the same time, the proportion of male is dropping. And even in the associate assistant professor, you saw the proportion of male are decrease, and it means that the men are leaving the academia. And I think for the next 10 years, we will have an academic with a high proportion of women, even in traditional disciplines such as the engineering and even the science. But I hope uh, we have some policies to keep the men, because we don't like to be in a one area. It's not very good even for the science and technology in our country, in any kind of one gender environment. And the diversity should we should support the diversity. And thinking about the men, I proposed several times to the Ministry of Higher Education that we have to conduct some national research about why men don't want to enter the higher education. This year, the number of women admitted in the higher education was around 65%. And it is not a good situation for us. We have to take care of the diversity of our higher education.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Falahati. Uh, at this time, I ask Dr. Somayeh Fereidouni to start her lecture. Dr. Fereidouni, member of faculty in Institute for Research and Planning in Higher Education, belong to Ministry of Science in Iran. Thank you, Dr. Fereidouni. Please start your lecture
Thank you
for
very much.
22 to 5 minutes.
Okay, please let me to share my file.
Yes.
My topics of speech is about Iranian female students as significant winners, higher education expansion during the last 2 decades. The next slide, please. Thank you very much. In the I think you skipped one slide. Oh, thank you very much. This slide outlines the section of my talk, which are divided into 4 parts, including related statistics as a glance, research design, findings, and discussion. In a few slides, next slide, please. In few slides, I have tried to illustrate the female students and faculties population in higher education, in Iran higher education. But since my colleague, Dr. Falahati, has truly covered the statistics and talk about this part completely, so I will skip this part in order to saving my time. Dr. Falahati, please skip 3 slides. Yeah, thank you very much. After we review these statistics, we can say that the most important part of this statistics focused on gender profile shift in Iranian higher education, in all academia. So, in this research, I want to explore what females have gained from entering university. Because entering university by female and choosing university by female is the most important parts of this gender profile shift. To address this question, I conducted a study with the features that you can see in this slide. Methodology was descriptive phenomenology study. Participants were 16 informers from 4 provinces of Iran. Data collection method was semi-structured interviews. And finally, data analysis method was Colizzi's method of data analysis. Please, next slide. This table is about demographic informations of research participants. The research participants were divided into 3 groups. One of them was faculty member specialists from different fields. Another one was female students from different levels of education, for example, undergraduate or master's, and finally, social activities from each provinces which were chosen for this study. Provinces were Gilan, Qom, Baluchistan, and Kurdistan. All participants were 16 people. Please, next slide. As I said, semi-structured interviews was used for data gathering. Conducted the face-to-face interviews in the given context by the researcher directly. It means that I traveled to each provinces, different cities in these provinces, and I conducted the face-to-face interviews with participants in 3 groups by my own. After gathering data, Collise's method was used for data analysis. This method including 6 parts. The first one, obtaining a general sense of each transcript. After that, extracting significant statements, formulating of meanings, organizing or formulating meanings in the clusters of thems and thems, exhaustively describing the phenomenon, and finally describing the fundamental structure of the phenomenon. This table shows the findings of the research. The first column is the most part of findings, which is emergent theme, social agency of female students. This emergent theme is rooted in them clusters. Them clusters including 5 themes. Changing beliefs, new lifestyle for females, reducing the gender stereotypes, considering new identity for females through attending university, and finally and importantly, feeling empowered among female university students. These STEM clusters again is rooted in formulated meanings or initial meanings. All these findings is presented in this table. Next one, please. In some slides, I want to show that the process that the emergent theme, which was social agency of female students, I want to show that how this emergent theme is gained from the participant codes and process and coding process. As I said, that emergent code was gained from the clusters. And I have tried to showing one code for each clusters. And I talk about these clusters according to participant codes. For example, for the first cluster, changing beliefs, one of the participants who was a social activist and journalist from Baluchistan said that in our society, we had not paid attention to any girls. They should have stayed at home or get married at a very young age. There have been traditional beliefs about females, but nowadays females have a right to study at the university. They have more agency in their marriage. They can be employed. Many things have been changed. This quote is very important because Kurdistan and the city that I were there was one of traditional city in Iran, and there are some limitations, some barriers, some obstacles for the girls according to some norms, social norms, and ideological norms in this context. Another one for new lifestyle for females, one of the participants who was a faculty member at Gilan University said that because of the changes in females' expectations, they have not lived like the past. Female wearing have changed. They are more independent. Hence, their new lifestyle has totally changed. The next one, please. Reducing the gender stereotypes. Another one from Kurdistan said, females' duty is making change. They should educate their boys as a person who never think that girls and boys are different. This kind of activist or faculty member believes that women through higher education experience, through higher education can put some changes in the society, but making differences in their family through education, their children. Another one is considering new identity for females through attending university. One of participants from Sardasht said, after I have become a university student, all my female consider me as a student and pay more attention to my attitude and my opinion. They even consult with me. She tried to show that after going to university, her position in the family was changed. And this changing is totally related to becoming university student. Another one, please. Next slide, please. And finally, feeling empowered as a most important part of this research finding. I want to talk about some quotes about this cluster. One of the participants from Gilan University said, if we graduate and be independent, we can be independent of our parents even. If we do not get married, we can and we should be able to manage our life, and we do not need anybody. Our goal is another way of life. One of the Kurdish social activities confirmed this quotes and said, university helps girls go out of home and enter the real society, finding more independence and voice in the society. Nothing like university can play this role and put girls in the way of being empowered. And another one said, I study law and I've learned so much about my right. I've taught it to my mom and sisters. I'm going to work for my girls who live in my city, and my studying helps me reach my dream. Next one, please. Now, I want to compare my findings with some theory. Excuse me. I want to, thank you very much. I want to compare my findings with some theory that Naila Kabir's theory. It's one of them that is related to my finding, and it's very similar to my finding, and I can explain about my finding by Kabir's theory. According to Kabir's definition from empowerment, being empowered is equal to capability of making decision and choosing. She defines empowerment as a process with three concepts, including agency, resources, and achievement. According to this definition, the last one. Thank you. Agency, according to this definition, is the ability to define one's goals and act upon them. Agency is about more than observable action. It also encompasses the meaning, motivation, and purpose which individuals bring to their activity. Their sense of agency or the power within. It can take the form of bargaining and negotiating, deception and manipulation, subversion and resistance, as well as more intangible cognitive process of reflection and analysis. It can be exercised by individual as well as by collectivities. Agency refers to people's capacity to define their own life choices and to pursue their own goals, even in the face of opposition from others. Please, next one. Females in Iran struggle hard to achieve the university opportunity, while there has been a lot of problem for them. For example, there are some experts who consider these changes as threats and unsafety. They believe that education for girls and increasing this opportunity through higher education expansion led to social corruption or family instability. They refer to females' weight and wearing more than other components. They believe that university has impact on the females wearing, especially because of moving on some new students from other big cities to their context. In addition, some of other experts and several policymakers believe that educated females cause the difficulties for males in the society and especially in job market. Whereas the female empowerment statistics in Iran shows that the female employment statistics in Iran shows that female graduates have the lowest employment rate rather than males and global rate. Next one, please. I wanted to confirm that although the university couldn't reach proper and acceptable academic statistics and ranking, but it provides an opportunity for Iranian females to find social presence, and female students have become significant winners in this position. According to Bernan, in Iran, university has a leading role in new social norms and helping people accept them. These new norms are so useful for girls and changing their position. The university provides a new space based on awareness among people. It can turn girls into social and cultural change agents. In spite of opposition with Iranian females, the university makes possible exception for the better future for Iranian girls enriched with freedom and development. Thank you for paying attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fereidouni. We benefited from your speech. Thank you. Thank you. And I received some questions. Let me
I'm here to answer. I hope I can answer all questions.
I help you. if you want. The first question is, what connection is there between women's social skills and their success in getting university positions and social positions?
And getting I understand that this question is about faculty member, but I think I should explain about this part that I use academia experts, for example, faculty members, as talk about female university students' experience, not about their experience. So, in order to answering this question, I need to talk about another data that this kind of data is not exist in my research.
I see, I see. And the second question is, how do you analyze connection between the rising migration of some Iranian female students or professors and the problems in higher education?
Um, migration of female students in the level of faculty member or in the level of students, I think more than related to higher education problem or challenges is related to labor market challenges in all the country. Because of this, rate of migration is increased during last decades. But higher education problems, for example, in the quality of the curriculum or the relation between market and university and something like that can play significant role in the migration of a faculty member or students.
Yes, yes. And the other question is about some people in Iran who want to create restrictions on women's education in some fields by dividing universities majors into ones for women and ones to men. Is it real in Iran or not real? Dividing between men and women about fields, university fields, scientific fields.
There are some fields, yeah, there are some fields according to construction in Azad University or nursing in public university, yes, is divided into, for example, nursing is just for male, or constructing is just for male. Gender divided in the field is a um, is bad reality in Iranian higher education. Yeah.
Based on economic statistic or no, based on traditional beliefs or so on?
Excuse me, I lose your voice.
I
Can you
said
repeat your
I
question?
based on economical ways or based on traditional beliefs.
It's according to gendered norms. For example, that my colleague Dr. Falahati talked totally completely about it. According to these norms, that caring field is about female and another field is for male. So according to these norms and beliefs, so this dividing is happening for fields.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answering to our question. Dr. Fakhi, is it possible for you to answer the first question? Maybe you have enough information about it.
Can you repeat it, Dr. Gholami, because I want to answer the last question rather than the
Yes,
first.
yes. But let me read the first question again. If this is possible, please explain for us about this.
Of course.
Then, what connection is there between women's social skills and their success in getting universities positions and social positions? And after
Okay.
answer to other question if you want.
Okay, when we come to talk about the skills, we have to understand what kind of skills we are talking. The social skills is rooted in awareness, and even the level of awareness people have, and skills means how they can use this awareness in practical way. From this window, I can go through some problems of women are facing in some issues such as leadership. Is clear that the skills of women in leadership is so low because they didn't have much opportunity to experience and to try and to learn. And we have to remember that the culture of management and leadership is mostly in whole the globe is a kind of masculine culture. Therefore, women forced to forget their identity and even their gender norms and even their personal identity, and change it to a kind of new culture and adapt it to a new culture which is a masculine culture. For example, they expected from the women be very tough, very strict about the issues. Therefore, in this level, the women have a lower level of skills. And I think rather than we push the women to learn these skills, we have to change the culture of the leadership and make it a kind of multilateralism culture and a kind of inclusive culture rather than a kind of one dimension culture which is totally a masculine culture.
Thank you. Thank you very much, both professors who participate in our meeting are high researcher in higher education and women, and also women studies in Iran. Thank you very much, Dr. Falahati and Dr. Fereidouni. And in conclusion, I can say we had a good and useful meeting. This meeting was scientific, not political. So both professors talked about Iranian women in higher education in a very realistic way. And this is very good for us and very good opportunity for us to talk about Iranian women and high education in this method. It's clear to me that women in Iranian universities have some problems, and to make things better from them, these problems need to be fixed in the future, absolutely. Some of these problems are global, as Dr. Falahati said, and some are completely local. The important thing is that today there are people who work hard without stopping to fix these problems. Thank you again, everybody, to participate in this meeting, and I hope that we can organize a big seminar, present seminar in Vienna about Iranian women and high education in the near future. Thank you again, and have a very nice afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gholami, and I'm really appreciative of you that provide this opportunity for us, and wish you a very good Ramadan and pray for us as well. Thank you so
Thank
much for your kindness.
Bye.
I thank you again for providing this opportunity for us to make relationship with other person in out of country. And thank you, Dr. Falahati, for sharing my file. Thank you very much. Have good afternoon. Goodbye.
Bye. خداحافظتون باشه. خدا نگهدار.